Indeed, we are. You are
Showtime.
live. Heyo. Here we go. Here we go. Round two, Snuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is our second one. We got a lot of stuff to show, a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about a few things. We got what does seeds being legal to ship throughout the U.S. How's that going to impact the industry? I think that's going to be a major thing. Um, LED technology. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the new Model 4E that you can see on the screen right now. We'll get into the details of that and how it works and how you can get your hands on one. Um, and then, yeah, and anything else that might come up in between. I think the topic that we wanted to start with though was the blue on your glasses, right?
Oh. Is it distracting? I mean, they're for computers.
They don't distract me. Does it distract you?
I don't know. I don't know yet because number one, I don't even know where I'm looking and where the best place to look, and then all I see is like blue stuff. But I got to protect my eyes, Asia. I'm 48. Like these things aren't going to last much longer, so I'm going to take care of them.
Yeah, I understand. Do you find it to be a difference?
A little bit, yeah. And now I got those new contacts too, so it's like totally different. Yeah. Oh
Wow.
wow, that is different. Yeah, I'll keep them on for now
All
until
right.
somebody comments and be like, "Those things are too distracting. Take them off. Take them off your face. It looks stupid."
Yeah, yeah. Um, but no, you're good. Leave them on. I also
Thank you.
switched the screen this time for me so that I'm looking more at the camera for everybody. Um, we're gonna switch the screens a few times. We're using StreamYard, which we don't get any money. We're not like promoting them. We just enjoy it so much because you're able to pull up so many different things. So as we talk about seeds, LEDs, the new model, we'll be able to switch the screens and show you all different types of views and all different types of things that we've been up to. So stick around. We're probably only going to be doing this till about 12:30. We're going to definitely stop, check the comments, answer any questions that you might have. We posted a video about LED and power savings, and we didn't provide any detail. And that was on purpose because we wanted to talk about it here. One of the things I think we're learning, Denise, is how to repurpose content, you know?
Yes, we are.
Repurpose content. Because when you post these posts, they go into the algorithm, universe, and who's to say who's going to see them? People are moving so fast; they're not able to read the copy. So I figured let's pull up some of those posts that we took a lot. It takes time. It takes thought to create all that creative and all that stuff. We don't want it to go to waste. So what we'll probably wind up doing as we move from week to week to week to week, what we'll probably wind up doing is just taking one of the posts from the past week or that we want to highlight and going into it in a lot of detail and just talking about it and then letting people ask questions about it too. Um, so if you saw that LED power cost savings social media video that we posted, I think yesterday,
Hmm.
and you have questions, stick around. We're definitely going to cover that. We're going to cover what you see in front of you right now, our newest model, the Model 4E. Explain how that works and how you can get your
She's a
hands on
beaut.
one.
She's a
Yeah,
beaut.
really happy with the way that this one came out, and we can. I guess we can get started. Let's get started. We're talking about was it seeds, right? You want to pull
The
up your
weed
stuff?
seeds. I'll
Yeah.
pull it up. Let's see. Add to stream. There we are. So, weed seeds may be legal. So, I want to stress the word may be
Mm-hmm.
legal to ship across the US right now. They're still trying to figure out things. I don't know what the next step is, but basically, this all started from a lawyer. I think the last name is Pennington. We can put this link in the comments in case you want to read up on it. It's from leafly.com, and it was just posted on April 8th. And this guy wanted some clarification about a 2018 um, farm bill that Congress passed, where it made hemp legal across the United States for manufacturing, for products, etc. So this guy's like, hey, can you just clarify what this means? And does that relate to the seeds? And because the seeds have like that less than 0.3% of THC, they're reviewing it to say you may be onto something, that this could actually um, change the whole dynamic of the cannabis industry. When we talk about strains, talk about mutations and crossbreeding of different strains and stuff. It's going to be pretty interesting, and it's also for not only commercial growers but home growers too. Um, so it's very interesting. But let me show you one thing down here, because everyone's like, well, what does that even mean? Does this mean that it's binding? Is it not binding?
Yeah, that's what I
So
want to know. What does it
how
mean for me?
well,
Yeah.
as always, Asia, it's a bit hazy, it
Mm,
says. um, the DA calls the letter an official determination, but whether or not they're legally bound to this position is a bit hazy. So they could be saying it to him, but not saying it to the world yet.
yeah.
But yeah, something to keep an eye out on. And this is really going to change the game, I think. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I want to know. I know that they're saying it's legal to ship them across, but is it legal to get, compensated for it if you're a home grower? Do you have to be a licensed cultivator growing the seeds? And, whether it be hemp, well, do you have to be a licensed cultivator to sell those seeds to someone else in another state? Um,
I don't believe so. According to this, it didn't cover it in this article, but they didn't mention that at all, whether or not you have to be, have a license or anything like that. So,
yeah.
but I'm sure that's going to be talked about too, because, it's not really a free market. So,
Yeah, yeah. I think that's why it's great to have, some lawyers in your network that you can ask or consult with to get the real details, because I think one of the things for us is trying to use every part of the plant, and a lot of the focus has been on the female plant, obviously, because that's the one with the flower. But the male plants provide that, that link to the genetics, and the possibility to breed. And then also that it was mentioning how we might see where you're going to have California breeders sending their
mhm,
genetics out east. So it's going to get incredibly, I think,
yeah,
competitive. Good thing for everybody, spreading the diversity of different type of strains around, because not one thing works for one person. Well, not one thing works for everyone. So we definitely need the diversity. But I'm glad to see that's kind of a crack in the in the
yeah,
dam for some
yeah,
movement. Some movement here.
yeah. They're basically saying that this is another step towards relaxing all of the stigma and some of the laws around legalizing cannabis. Period. So
Yeah, yeah.
bit by bit,
It's
chipping
incredible
away.
how they control seeds. You can't buy seeds from outside of the country. It's just, you know, that's another way of, the system, I think, sometimes keeps us in control, not letting us grow or ship or do that type of stuff. So there's pros and
Yeah.
cons. I understand, sometimes you don't want different species inundating other species if you take something from somewhere and it comes over here and kind
Mhm.
of, wipes out another type of genetic line. But with indoor growing, what we're doing now, the flexibility to be able to grow a lot of different things wherever you are. So grow what you want, where you want, like we always say, is really key. So I'm glad. Big ups on this. That's nice.
Yeah, I guess they were trying to get around it. I don't know if you know this, it was a surprise to me. But they were saying that they got around this for years because they were talking about it as like a novelty and almost like a souvenir.
Hmm.
So that's how they were able to kind of ship them to other people without being, fined or arrested or anything.
Hmm.
So I'm going to put um, this link into our comments, Asia,
Thank you.
for the people.
Yeah, check that out when you get a chance if you're interested. Um, I
There you
think
go.
next up we have. So we're going to cover a few different things. Next up on our list are LEDs and how we use them in our grow to save on costs. This is a video that we did, uh, posted just yesterday. We just posted this video yesterday. It's kind of a graphical rendering in the animation of how we use LEDs. We've been trying to explain this feature that we have called the auto sync LED feature. It's difficult to explain verbally. You really need to see it. So what we try to do is come up with a visual representation of what does a regular traditional grow look like on the left hand side, and then what are we doing that's so different with Trella on the right. So I'll play it again. It does have some music. I'll bring that down just a bit so it's not too distracting. But it's only 15 seconds long, so we just play it over and over and over again. But basically, what you've got on the left hand side, you've got individual LED bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. Each of those bars consumes 40 watts of energy. On the opposite side, over Trella, on the right hand side, you've got the same. You've got 5 individual LED bars. But what we do differently on the right hand side is we're only turning on those LED bars when the plant has gotten to that bar. So, as the plant moves from one side to another, the LEDs overhead turn on, at that same time. So that can happen automatically, or you can do it manually. You don't need to have the full auto sync LED feature to do this. You could, for example, have our Model 4E, which we'll talk a lot more about next. You could take our Model 4E, that's actually the new Model 4E in this picture right there, and you go out and you buy individual LED bars. We do this right now just to show you an example. This is what we're doing right now. That's actually a Model 6, so it's a lot longer. So it's got more. It's got 8 LED bars over it total. But the plant has not gotten to the fifth bar, so there's no point in turning on that power and wasting that energy. And what we're trying to show with this video is that over time you're developing a canopy across the same area. So you're occupying the same amount of footprint, but you're using less power over that footprint, and you're doing it with less plants. That's key. You're doing it with less plants. And on the left hand side, the traditional method, some people might grow one plant every 1 to 2 square feet. So we've got shown here just 5 plants, every like 1 square foot side by side, and then you've got one plant in Trella. So when you're growing with this method, you don't need as many plants in your processing. You don't need to have as many cuttings. You don't need to have as many, as much material moving through the facility. You could slim down your seedling area, slim down your pre-veg, controlled area, so that you only have, this is only what 20% of the plants that you needed before. So you're saving energy in your seedling area. And then you come out here and you put it in a unit like this that can train the plant to grow sideways, and then just turn on the lights when you need to. It's a substantial things. This is just of many. I mean, depending on how you set up the LED bars, how many you have, the more you have, the more precise you can get with turning them on at certain times, which means you actually can increase your profit by even more than what we're showing here. But this is just one example with 40-watt LEDs. You could get 40-watt LEDs from Fluence. They make a product called the Razor. But the ones that we are showing in our lab right now, I talked a little bit about this last week, are just that they're 30 watts. GE lights, 30 watts, $79 a piece. They used to be cheaper, but I think everybody started finding out about them and they got popular, and then the price went. So they're about $79 right now at Home Depot or Lowe's. You also, in some areas, have to go into the store to purchase them. They're good lights for the money. I mean, you could spend thousands and thousands of dollars on your LED lights, but depending on your budget, depending on your level of what you're trying to do, basically all you want is an LED bar. So you could go out and get an expensive LED bar or a cheap LED bar. Pop those babies over the top of Trello Grow LST and space them horizontally, and just only turn them on when you need to. You're going to save an incredible amount of energy. When we designed this prototype, when we did this, we did not automatically think of this, right away. Like not until maybe like 2018 or something like that did we think, hey, we've got our own energy costs. We have a research location where we have power consumption issues we have to, be aware of. Let's turn off the lights that are over here because we're not using them yet. And it went, hey, you could do that. That's part of the process. That's part of the way to grow this, is to have individual dimmable LED lights that you can turn on and off as the plant grows. And when they're dimmable, you can get even more, power savings out of it. You can get them closer to the plant because we're controlling the height. We're maintaining the same height from one side all the way to the other. You don't have to worry about the plants growing into your lights, so you can bring them close, dim them down according to your manufacturer specifications, and really save on cost. Um, One of the questions we get, Snuff, and all right, so Snuffy. Yeah, if you were here last week, you saw that Snuffy was named Denise. Denise is
I'm
her.
still named Denise.
She's still named
named.
Denise.
I'm
Denise
still
is her
named.
real name. Her
It
nickname
is.
is Snuffy.
It is.
Denise and I met when we were playing women's tackle football a long, long time ago, when we were young, spry little things, and
and didn't need like blue blockers for computers.
right,
Am I
or
right?
glasses in general.
Period.
But yes, and we called her Snuffy then. So sometimes I'll flip back and forth depending on depending on the mood that I'm in. I might call her Denise, I might call her Snuffy, but she's the same person. Just so everybody
Same
knows,
person.
if you're part of the Trella team, Trella community, I think it's important that you know Snuffy and Denise are the same person.
Imagine if I put on different hats every time he called me something different. Like, no,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Go on.
But no, what I was going to say is one thing that people ask is this scalable? Can you use it for commercial use? Can you use it for residential use? I mean, at the scalable perspective, when you put these in multiple racks, one on top of another, that cost savings that we were talking about before, um, is it's scaled up. This is almost $10 for just one area that you're saving in power. So if you have any other questions, we could check the comments to see if anything came up.
No, I have a question though. Can you go back
Sure.
to the other one that you were
Sure.
here? So how do you determine how many lights you need up at the top there?
Yeah, good question. So every light manufacturer has a recommended like spacing. They recommend, if you're using multiple lights, they'll tell you you want to space them at either 8 inches apart, 12 inches apart. It may vary. Um, and then they'll also tell you how high above the canopy you should have your light as well. So we start there in our lab. Like we start with what the manufacturers ask for, and then we go a little bit above and beyond. We use a PAR sensor by Apogee, APOGEE. Apogee, APOGEE. They make a variety of light sensors that can measure how much light output you're getting in PAR, different units. I think they have handheld devices, so something quick and easy. If you're just mobile and you want to, go from spot to spot to spot, they have something, and they even have things that are a little bit more advanced that kind of connect to a computer. Uh, but yeah, we also check all of our lights with that apogee sensor as well, so that we know, all right, yeah, this is what we want. We want about 300 par during the veg cycle, about 1,000. We go up to about 500 the further we go, and then when we're in flowering, we're at about 1,000. So yeah, you can use your sensors to double check, or you can just go based on what the manufacturers say, and get a feel for how your plants are responding, and tweak it accordingly. So
Cool.
yeah, we got a nice message from Abraham. Thanks, nice seeing you out here on the live. Keep the great work. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, when it's kind of strange trying to do the work and do the social media.
Strange
uh,
is a good word.
Yeah, it's strange. It's strange doing the work and doing the social media at the same time. It can get kind of strange. So sometimes, Abraham, I need to just focus on the work. And then once I have something to produce, now it's time to come out and show everybody and talk about it. So you might see, we go into kind of like a hibernation on social media from time to time. And I know Say Hi To is probably like, she would kill me, but consistency is key with social media. We're getting better at it. But if you like what you see, please help us out with those algorithms. Share it, save it, comment on it. It really helps us out a lot. Appreciate that. But yeah, this is the Model 6 with the LEDs over the top of them. And then, you have any other questions?
I don't, and not many comments right now.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. Did you hear that? Where'd that come from? One. Boom. And then we want the big one, right?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yep, you
You
know
got
it.
it. Keep moving.
Want to try to make this bigger for everybody. Pardon us as we play around.
Ooh, there she is.
Yeah, I'll do it big like this. We'll come back in and out later if we need to.
Okay.
So this is the new Trella Grow Model 4E. Boom. This is our newest model, and to kind of talk a little bit about why we created this version. Um, the versions that we have now, the Model 4, the Model 6, they're incredible. I mean, they automate the process. They will track how fast the plant is growing, move accordingly. They connect to the app, all the bells and whistles. But as we were starting to talk to people, some people just wanted help training their plants. They didn't want all of the bells and whistles. They wanted something that was at a better price point, something that would just consistently take the weight off of tying those plants down, trimming them, and having, I think, the experience and the skill set to like consistently train their plants the same way, and the time that it requires. So what we decided to do was to take it back a notch and to come up with a solution that's similar to one of the prototypes that we had when we first started designing the Model 4 and the Model 6. So with this new Model 4E, it's really simple to control that plant height. What you're basically doing is you'll see in the lower right hand corner, there's a green wheel with a Trello logo on it. That's what we call the hand wheel. That moves the entire apex carriage, and the apex carriage is what is in the green. You see like the plants coming up above it. There's like a green fence and some like white fencing. That's the apex carriage. That's where the top of the plant is. So again, this is just one plant that's going to fill that entire volume and fill up that space over time. And all we're simply doing is just laying it sideways, just gently telling it go sideways, hold all of your foliage in this contained volume, and till we get to the very end. When we get to the end, just like we do with the Model 4 and the Model 6, you take the apex carriage top off, you take off that top mesh that's holding the foliage down, and then you let all those branches stretch up to the light. So basically, to train this plant, you come, you go, you look at it, are all of the leaves coming out of that green fence by too much? Are they drooping over the side and hanging over the side? You don't want that. You want it to look how it looks right now. Once the plant starts to grow, and that will happen like every day, the plant will grow a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. The leaves will start to come up through the top of this. And once they start to hang over the side, that's when it's time to move to the next location. So all you simply do is just turn that green hand wheel like 15 degrees. Like you don't even have to turn it that much. Turn it to the right. It trains the plant. You put it in the position and you go on about your business. That's it. Um, just like we do with our other models. This is the Model 4E, so it's only 4 foot in distance. But just like we do with the Model 4 and the Model 6, we're only really defoliating and taking out all of those leaves every 10 to 14 days. Looking at this one right now, we put it in around 8 days ago. So it's got about 2 more days before I'll go in and pull some of those bottom leaves out. Any leaves that look damaged or miscolored, we'll go in and we'll do that. And that'll take just a couple of minutes. But from a day-to-day basis, it's pretty simple. It's just turn that green hand wheel that's in the lower right-hand corner. So yeah, I mean, controls the height. You can also put those LED grow lights over the top of it, and do the same thing. You can turn on, you could put, a series of individual LED grow lights just like you have here. So just like we had here, and I'll put this one up if I can. No, it won't let me do it today. All right. You could do the same thing with the Model 4E that you see here with the Model 6. Individual LED bars placed over the top, turn them on as the plant grows, save yourself on a ton of energy. And now that I'm in a grow tent on this one, but if you're in a shelving system, you can stack them, and make more out of your grow tent space. So that is the new Model 4E. Any questions? Anything that I didn't cover? Snuff, what do you think?
I don't think so, buddy. Excuse me. Sorry. So this is 4 feet, right? The
Four
four.
feet. 4 feet
Mm-hmm.
in length and about 2 feet in width and in the depth.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you go to our website, you go to our shop, shop.trella.io. We can put that in the comments. Shop.trella.io. I'll drop that in there.
Okay. Yeah, it
Um,
gives it. You have the breakdown of all the units.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So if you go to shop.trella.io, you'll see the breakdown of all the individual units because we have 3 models now. We used to only have 2. Here's the third. And the Model 4E is perfect in design for residential growers that need a little bit of help, don't want to break, their financial bank, um, but want to at least get started and to learn the process. And the great thing about the way that we designed this is this Model 4E, it could be upgraded, it could be enhanced, and we do have plans to do um, add-ons and kind of upgrade packages in 2023. So if you like the Model 4E, you're getting used to it, you like the way that it manages the plant, but you still want the automation, you want to have it do it while you're gone, because there are people that might be growing in containers, growing in remote locations, growing in someone else's house, and they can't get there all the time. That's when the automation, or even if you're growing in a vertically stacked, you're doing 3 levels of grow, you definitely want to get into automation at that point because you don't have to send people up and down all those levels across all those plants as much. So for those types of situations where you really want to optimize and automate, we still have the 4 and the 6. But for the 4E, it helps you to just control it. Looks like we got a question though. Let me see, from Derek Chapman. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking us out, Derek. Just to make sure I understand your question, are you talking about canopy size? What's the maximum size of the canopy that you can get? For this one, it's 12 square feet for the Model 4E and the Model 4. Um, Check out the shop. Go to shop.trella.io. You'll see on that first homepage, scroll down, you'll see a comparison chart. It talks about all the the technicals, the size, the different features that they all have. But this one takes up on floor space on the shelf. It takes up only 2 feet by 4 feet. But what happens is, and you'll see in the pictures, those arms for the flowering, they expand wide. So you get 3 feet of width so that you can really spread out that plant and make the most out of that floor space, and then stack them as well with shelving. So I hope that answered your question, Derek.
I
All
don't know.
right.
This is exciting to me
Yeah.
because look at it, like it's so interactive too. Because I think a lot of people like to still fiddle, right? And like to still kind of be part of the growing experience. So this one kind of makes it more interactive, especially if you're just a residential grower, right? You can
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
kind of feel it and be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, in the E, is kind of, we were talking about this internally as a company when we were trying to figure out, how we want to name this. And the 4E came from experience, education, entry, like just trying to figure out, trying to get people to experience what is this Trello Grow LST method. I mean, the LST, low stress training method, has been around for decades. We just tried to simplify it so that anyone can do it with repeated consistency, and to reduce the amount of time that it takes for them to do it. I mean, to really low stress train a plant without Trella, you have to tie down the apex, the main stem of the plant, and you want to do it. You don't want to be too excessive about it, so you want to tie it a little bit, and then come back the next day and pull it down a little bit more, tighten it, pull it down a little bit more, tighten it, and you have to do the same thing to all the side branches that are coming out, and all the side branches have to be lower than the main branch, because if the side branches become the same height or taller than the main branch, it stops the forward progression. It stops the main plant the main apex becomes confused. They all become main apexes, and then it just kind of all stays in its in a what I would say a shorter volume. You don't get as much out of the plant that way. You want to allow that apex to continue to grow so that more stems get created off that main apex. Um, so then another question from Derek. Thanks. Is it linearly modular? Um, modular in the sense that you could put, so basically, and I wish I had a picture of this for you, Derek. I could definitely bring one up on our next live, but we do have, you may be asking two things. Let me answer them both. The first is, are we able to change the length in in our design? Like, could Trella give you a unit that was 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet? The answer to that question is yes. Yes, we have the flexibility to do that. That's why we like to build and assemble a lot of the things in house so that we can maintain that flexibility. And especially with supply chain issues now,
Mm.
it's really key. The other thing that you might be asking about linearly modular is, can you put them side by side by side in a row? Yes, you can do that too. You could put them in, like you could put four of these Model 4Es in a 4 foot by 8 foot flood tray, hydroponic flood tray. So a big old 4 foot by 8 foot flood tray, you could put four of them in side by side. So one, two, and then another three, four, and they would all fit in that space. That's what it's been designed for. Great questions, Derek. Appreciate you asking questions, hanging out with us.
Mm.
Anything else that you could think of, please throw it out there. It's all good. Yeah, so go to the shop. The other thing is that we still assemble in Massachusetts. We still build these to order, which means at this point we have limited availability. We can only move so much. So what I would suggest people do if you're interested is go to the shop.trella.io, check it out. You'll also see, I don't know, Denise, if you could pull up that new banner. We have a
Mm.
discount.
Yes, right here.
There we go. Let me.
Oops. There we go.
All right.
This is big.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So we have a discount too, because we wanna make sure that it's financially feasible. So one of the other things that we're asking is just for a $250 refundable deposit. Just a deposit, 250. Let us know you're interested. You can reserve that $300 discount. So right now, if you go to our website, the price starts at 1,700, but we're giving a discount for 300. So it's going to be 1,400, but only for a limited time, and that's till May 15th. May 15th, the price goes back up. So $1,400 till May 15th. If you want to hold that price, all you simply have to do is just do a deposit, $250, put in your credit card. We will bill you for the invoice, the remaining balance later, but the balance will be off of 1,400, not off of 1,700. So you save about $300 that way, and then we can get popping and get this stuff moving. Um,
Hmm.
Incredibly simple. We're going to have more stuff to show about the Model 4E. What I would suggest is that you definitely check out the shop, join our newsletter if you want to know more about discounts, updates, etc. But this unit here, I'm so happy with I'm so happy with this unit, the way it came out. I think it's going to be, a lot simpler for some of our growers out there to engage with their plants, control them, and not worry about becoming overwhelmed in their grow space. And you can also save on energy. That's the key, people. Like, it's not just about Trello Grow LST and controlling the plant height. It's also about putting those individual LED bars over the top and making the most out of your space and your resources, so you're not spending too much money out the door. Um, but yeah, check that out. Go to shop.trella.io to reserve a discount. Check out the comparison chart. All that stuff will be there. But just to show you what we're talking about here, that's the Model 4E on the right hand side, and 5 LED bars spaced over the top at about 8 to 12 inches on center from side to side, and save yourself, some money, especially if you're doing this for multiple plants on multiple levels. Cost savings is going to be tremendous. Any other questions? Email us
Mm-mm.
at trella.io. We'll put that in there too. Our email. Oh, can you actually do it, Denise? You know how I get when I try to type and talk at the same time. I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy.
I got you, friend. There you go.
But yeah.
I wish we had like, I know this is cheesy, but I wish we had like confetti or something because this is exciting. I mean, I don't know. I just love how we're expanding things and we're really thinking about what people actually want and how to because we want them in everyone's home basically. So
Yeah.
like let's meet people where they are and we kind of figured out that this is the best way to do it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
And
mean,
it's good
just
too. Look at what you did. Like Asia and team designed this. This is just I don't know. It's really eye catching in my opinion.
yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, from the bigger perspective of why, because really, honestly, like the pricing of the other models, people were saying you just got to go to the people who can afford it, and I'm like, that's not really what we want to do. We want to allow everybody to grow what they want, where they want, and we're leaving a lot of people off, and
Yeah.
not including a lot of people. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that everybody can still afford, 1,400, but a lot more people can. So,
Right.
with that, we're allowing people to be able to start growing in your own home. I mean, you know, we need that sovereignty to be able to grow our own plant medicine, grow our own food, um, and there's been times in history where that privilege of growing your own, not privilege, but that right of growing your own food
Mm. Mhm.
was removed. Like
Mhm.
there were times where they were telling people you can't grow food.
Right.
So grow your own food, grow your own plant medicine. Um,
Basically, it was just hailing. It was hailing yesterday up in northern Massachusetts, and there's snow in New Hampshire this morning.
mhm.
So this is some crazy climate stuff happening, and we're not planting yet because we're still getting a frost. So it's not time for us here in New England yet. But if I had one of these, which I don't know why I don't have one of these, I could just be doing it right now.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
little
yeah.
tomatoes.
Yep, yep. So that is the end. I don't think we have anything else. And we've covered all of our topics. We'll be live again next week,
Mm-hmm.
at noon Eastern. We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna just keep the same time frame. We'll be talking a lot more about the Model 4E. Also, I almost forgot. How did I almost forget?
I don't
It,
know, lady.
it's 420 tomorrow. 420
Mm.
tomorrow. So that's going to be, a big celebration for a lot of people in the community. Consume safely, have a good time, vibe, reconnect. I had, the pleasure of reconnecting with my family this weekend, and you know, a part of cannabis was a part of that, and I appreciated that. I appreciated that. Um, but yeah, everybody, thank you very much for hanging out. Check out the website. Oh, and also don't forget one last thing, that we are still open for investment. You can still
Mm-hmm.
invest in Trella Grow LST. We do have, an offering, a regulation crowdfunding offering out there. Go check out the terms. If you love the product and you love the company, you love what we're trying to do, and you want to have some skin in the game, you want to have, be a financial supporter and also an investor, there's a way to do that. Like I mentioned last time, a lot of our customers are investors. Like 80% of our customers are also investors. They really believe in what we're trying to do. So yeah, I appreciate everybody checking us out, staying with us to the end. Let us know your thoughts on the new Model 4E. If you have any questions, concerns, hit us up. You can email us at Trella.io. That's actually our email. Email us at Trella.io. And we will be in touch. All right. Good. Mad peace, mad love.